Welcome back to our live video cryptocurrency trading series. Today we are talking about Bitcoin gets a shiny new software upgrade. And the reason to get excited about this is that it has full SegWit support. So it's going to be a game changer for Bitcoin. So what's going on? Well, SegWit transactions are up significantly since Bitcoin Core version 0.16.0 has been released. And this is this blue line, the chart on the blue line on this chart is the percentage of SegWit transactions. And you can see this is a 144 block moving average, and it was running normally around 15%. It's more than doubled to over 30%. So Bitcoin SegWit transactions are rising dramatically. So the new version of Bitcoin software includes full support for the SegWit upgrade. And now why is that exciting? The reason it's exciting is because it's not a block size increase. Okay, Bitcoin is still limited to 1 megabyte blocks, but it is a significant it does a significant amount of heavy lifting in regards to the weight of transactions on the blockchain by separating digital signatures into a segregated side chain. Okay, so this is what a Bitcoin chain of transactions looks like. All right, each transaction is signed by a digital signature that is a hash or encoding of the sender's private key and the recipient's public address. So the sender's private key and the recipient's public address are hashed together or encoded into a digital signature. And every single transaction has that digital signature, no matter what size transaction, no matter if it's a micro Bitcoin, a Satoshi, or several Bitcoin. It's just on every single transaction. Now, transactions, when I say that transactions are heavy, okay, there's a bottleneck in the Bitcoin blockchain because of the weight of these transactions. Now, what is the reason for this bottleneck? The reason is that the signature, no matter how small the transaction is, every transaction has to contain accounts, a sender and receiver, amounts in the form of inputs and outputs, and those digital signatures that we just talked about. So the accounts are from whom and to whom the transaction goes. Okay, so that's, for example, here, from Alice to Bob, from Alice to Dave. The amounts are the number of Bitcoins, and then the digital signature is that code of the hashing of the combination of the sender's private key and the recipient's public address. So all those things have to be on a single transaction, and that gets pretty heavy. There's a lot of data there, okay? And the reason is that, for example, when you look at the amounts from inputs and outputs, in order to send a Bitcoin transaction, you have to prove that you have all those Bitcoin in your account. And to do that, that requires all these inputs, each of which shows how many Bitcoin you receive, to total the amount that you want to send. And then the outputs are how much you're going to send to the sender plus the change you're going to send back to yourself, because these amounts probably aren't going to add up to exactly what you're going to send. So you can see that when you get the amount and the from address and the to address and the signature, then the transaction gets pretty heavy, and every single transaction, no matter the size, has to have that. So what does the SegWit upgrade do? Well, the SegWit upgrade very simply takes the digital signatures off the blockchain and stores them in a side chain, in a secure side chain, so that it relieves the weight of those digital signatures off the main chain. And digital signatures actually occupy 65% of the space on the blockchain. So look at if you look at back at the transaction, you can see inputs from address, and then the script of that is the hash of the private key and the public address that result in the digital signature is a pretty long string. So that takes up 65% of the space on the blockchain. So this relieves a significant amount of weight off the blockchain. It also happens to solve a particular security problem, which is known as malleability. And malleability on the blockchain is just a bug in which a malefactor can tamper with signatures in such a way as to cause a corrupt transaction to supersede its legit counterpart on the blockchain, as long as he does it in time before that transaction is confirmed. So with those problems solved, the Bitcoin software upgrade is a significant advance for Bitcoin. Now, this has been a long time coming since the technology was introduced back in 2016, and last August, SegWit was released, but it hasn't been adopted, partly because developers had been occupied much of last year with the fight over the kerfuffle over doubling Bitcoin's block size, and partly because the SegWit has to be specifically enabled on exchanges and wallets, since SegWit and non-SegWit transactions, so that means the transactions with the digital signatures on the blockchain and those with the digital signatures off the blockchain, are not compatible. So now version 0.16.0 finally includes support for native SegWit addresses. That employs the user-friendly format that supports SegWit transactions automatically. So all SegWit transactions will now be automatically supported on the Bitcoin blockchain. So this is a significant advance for Bitcoin. Bitcoin got an upgrade. SegWit transactions are soaring, and hopefully this video has given you some valuable information that you can put to use today to make better, more informed, more research-based cryptocurrency investment decisions. Ciao for now.